Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all well. Heavy, very, very heavy snow here today. Dogs are fascinated, though. I was going to say something about John Warboys this morning, but I'm going to keep that for tomorrow. That's why I'm here tomorrow, because this cold just won't go away. Instead, I wanted to just say a couple of words today about one of the most shocking stories I've seen for a while. And that is a story coming out of Ireland this morning. And it's provoked a bit of a debate on Twitter. I'll put the article below this video. But some of the points that are being made on it are fantastic and need to be pointed out, because this is globalism defined, what's happening. Essentially, Ireland, which is a country of 4.7 million people, has decided, and its Taoiseach, its Prime Minister, is very, very excited about this, that they're going to add 1 million migrants to the country between now and 2040. And Leo Varadkar, the Prime Minister, he announced it as his big vision for how they want to reshape Ireland over the next 2 decades. A couple of things immediately spring to mind, and the first one is the open border with the UK. And if Ireland is intending on bringing in 1 million people, almost 25% of its population, what does that mean for the border in Northern Ireland? It's a very serious issue, because if they can bring in 1 million, they can bring in 2 million, they can bring in 3 million. They can completely swamp Ireland, make the Irish a minority, and they will do quite quickly, with complete and open access to the UK. That's assuming that any borders are put in place at all as a result of Brexit. My guess is that they won't be. But some of the comments that I'm reading on the Breitbart article about this are fantastic. And I'll just read a couple of them. Doubling the population of every city outside Dublin through mass immigration to drive up consumption and inflate housing costs and prop up a pyramid scheme economy is not an intelligent idea. It's going to wreck the nation and enrich only the landed gentry and those at the top. Another one says, imagine announcing 100 billion plus fantasy with no grounds in reality to reshape Ireland by 2040, when in 2018 we have overflowing hospitals, a housing crisis, and over 3,000 homeless children. It is nothing but a blueprint to the total demise of the Irish people, flooding the country with non-Irish immigrants, overwhelming the population. Where will they come from? The third world, not America, not Europe. This is replacement. They want us gone. Now, this is happening, as we know, all over Europe. And the feeling among most people, ordinary native European people, is that this is a replacement. And a lot of people sort of scorn this idea, but it's also growing in credibility. And you can see why it's growing in credibility. You cannot bring 1 million people into a tiny country and not expect massive, massive change. And the people at the receiving end of this will be the ordinary taxpayer, which is the same here and the same all over Europe. It will bring massive crime. It will bring all the problems that it has brought to England. You will see rape gangs. I think they already do exist. You have FGM clinics. You'll have child marriage. You'll have Islamic extremism. You'll have tribal violence, gangs intimidating people. I'm reading here that it's already happening. And you really get to the idea that there's some sort of, if not a replacement, a displacement going on. When you read that there is, it says here, the government has also come under attack for plans to open a centre for 115 asylum seekers in a heritage town, home to one of Ireland's traditional oldest men. Now, this town is a town of 300 people, and it's getting 115 asylum seekers, almost half of the town. That town will be gone forever. Is it any wonder people all over Europe are starting to embrace, or at least consider, the idea that there is a deliberate replacement of Europeans going on? This can't can't continue. And there's somewhere, some point, the people are going to break. But what's most shocking to me about this article is that the government, the Irish government, has paid the media to report this story positively. It has paid the media to report this story positively. Now, we know that the media has no morals or scruples of any kind, but for a democracy to be using taxpayers' money to pay so that their destructive policies won't be discussed honestly and openly, that there can't be any criticism of this in the media, is absolutely shocking and shameful. And it is the death of democracy. The media, once again, utterly complicit in the death of democracy. And this is not an Irish issue. This is a European issue. The whole continent is being transformed. The media are being either paid off or stuffed to the gills with open border leftists who are absolutely clueless as to what they are doing and to what they are unleashing. And they don't, not only are they clueless, but if they weren't clueless, they simply wouldn't care, because the little people at the bottom don't matter. The ordinary tax-paying majority all across Europe are collateral damage to the stuck-up, snobby journalists and the snobby politicians who won't be living anywhere near this mass migration. We are collateral damage. We are being actually abused by our governments, abused by them. If we are attacked or blown up or raped in the street, well, they don't care. It's a price they are willing to pay for the global order, this bringing down of nations. This is shocking. This is absolutely shocking. And it really, really matters here in the UK if 1 million or more people are going into Ireland. It really matters. I think it's time for some clarity from Theresa May and others, and looking for clarity from Theresa May, I guess we'll be looking for a long time. But there needs to be an answer to this. I've said all along that as long as Ireland is a member of the EU, there has to be a hard border in Ireland. And now with Project 2040, where they advertise that they are going to transform this tiny country into something completely unrecognizable, bringing people from all over the world, many of whom, if previous evidence is anything to go by, looking all over Europe is anything to go by, many of whom will come from Africa and the Middle East, will be unemployable and will spend a great deal, if not of their lives, if not generations, on welfare, paid for by an already overburdened taxpayer. This is shocking. It's absolutely shocking. And what's more, all the politicians are going along with it. It's the same here. There's no one in Parliament. There might be small parties protesting, but there's no one in Parliament that actually objects to this stuff. There's no one in the Irish Parliament who objects to it either. It's even worse over there than it is here. This is shocking, Europe. We are being kicked out of our own country. We're being put in our place, told to shut up and pay the bills. It has to stop. It will only stop when we stop voting for these people. There was a message someone sent on Twitter this morning, I think it was from Quentin Letts in the Daily Mail, saying that Labour is essentially that the people in the north of England won't vote for anyone else anyway, so we can do what we want. And that's sadly the absolute truth. And it's up to us. It's up to us. The time is getting very, very short. But this announcement from Ireland is just a symbol, an example of what is happening to the native people of Europe. And I, for one, am sick and tired of it. I know I'm not the only one, but we have to. Change is in our hands. Change is in our hands. How dare they? How dare they do this to us? How dare they? And these lefties who go along with it, I've seen it on Twitter again this morning, people saying, oh, well, it's payback time. It's payback time? So what? The descendants of Europeans from generations ago somehow deserve to be punished? Well, my question is, one, if you believe in punishing descendants, do you find that a moral position? Is it your morals to punish innocent people? And secondly, does it apply only to people in Europe? Or does everyone have to be punished for the I won't even say crimes, the actions of their ancestors? Are we going to punish Turkey, for example, for the Ottoman Empire, or for the Armenian genocide? Who's going to be punished? Which descendants specifically deserve to be punished for the actions of their forefathers? I want to know. I really want to know this. But it's this ridiculous, spiteful self-hatred. We have generations now who actually believe they and their countries deserve to suffer, and suffer they will. Because if a tiny country like that opens its borders to 1 million or more, and they won't be coming from Norway or Finland, as someone said to me on Twitter this morning, you can be assured of that, then you will be punished, and you won't like it when it happens. I'm going to leave it there for this morning. Tomorrow I shall be back. I hope this cold recovers. I know I've been banging on about this for a while, but it just won't go away. I'm speaking in Essex on Thursday night. And if you're a member for Britain and you're in Essex, expect an email from me today. Obviously, for obvious reasons, we can't advertise these things. But I will write to members, or only members, in Essex today to let you know about the meeting on Thursday night. Other than that, I'm going to go and take some flu remedy, and I shall see you all back here tomorrow at 11. Take care.